episode is whatever one I'm working on right now.
Melody, Lindsay from Dubuque, Iowa would like to know, how many times are the Scrubs dogs walked every day, and how many of them are there?
Dogs walked per day. Well, I'd have to gauge on how many times I pick up messes in the hallway. I think the dogs are probably walked about 6 times a day by different people, myself, maybe 5 times. And there's usually between 5 to 12 dogs here, collectively.
Rob, when you walk them, where do you take them?
I take them to Pooh Island.
Do you guys have
It's going to be coming out on Fox this fall.
Sarah?
It's a new reality show.
Sarah?
Who can stay the longest? And it's just down in the parking lot. It's Pooh Island, where they go and do their business.
My name is Janae Bakken, and I'm a producer, and this is my question. From Eric. I'm fairly certain that most, if not all of you, have had much medical training. I think he means have not had much medical training, because we haven't. So I was wondering how you come up with your various stories for each episode. Do you consult real doctors, such as the real JD, or do you just simply open up a medical journal and choose something that sounds interesting? On a side note, if I asked you really nicely and said, pretty please, would you make this rabid, he said rapid, but he means rabid, Scrubs fan dream come true and name a patient after him? We'll just answer that last question first. Yes, Eric, I will name a patient after you, and I'm sad that I don't have your last name, but you look for a guy named Eric on the show, and you can thank me. But as far as medical training goes, we have none, and we do use the real JD for a lot. As a lot of you probably know, the show was based on Bill's best friend in college, who was like a drunk frat guy and became a doctor, and Bill thought it was fascinating that his drunk friend is now a doctor, operating on people, and he's not drunk anymore, he's really sober. Anyway, so we do use him a lot, and but the other thing that the writers did from the very beginning is Bill asked all of us before we showed up for the first day of work ever to, we read a book about being a doctor, and we also interviewed any doctor we knew. So I just interviewed a bunch of people I went to college with who became doctors. And that's where we get our best stories, is from talking to real doctors. They have the funniest, the creepiest, the scariest, the saddest stories, and basically every idea we've ever had on the show, or every medical story we've ever had on the show, really does have its basis in some story that we've gotten mostly from the doctor interviews. Every once in a while we'll read an article in Newsweek or something that might spark something for us as well, but it's usually those interviews where we get our best material. And the way we use JD is where we get a little creative, and that's, well, besides the fact that we write stuff like medical jargon in somebody's speech so that he can write in 10 cc's of some drug, we will also call him to ask for a specific disease that would help a storyline that we have, and it drives him crazy when we call him and say stuff like, JD, we need this girl to have a disease that she's probably going to die, she's going to die at the end of the episode, so 2 days later she's going to die. But for the 2 days she needs to be healthy and alive and pretty. She needs to stay pretty so that JD can fall in love with her. What disease would that be? And he wants to rip his hair out because no one would look pretty when they're going to die in 2 days. So that kind of stuff drives him crazy. So that's what we do. And we don't read medical journals because we're not smart enough to figure them out.
My favorite episode is My Life in 4 Cameras, which we did last year. It was our sitcom episode. And it was just great for a lot of reasons. The whole experience was great. Working with a live audience, the actors got a rush out of it, and they were our fans. And after the show, the audience came down and met the actors. So the whole thing was a rush, and it was a good experience. Most of the crew hadn't worked multi-camera before with a live audience, so I think everybody was just pumped about doing it. So that's my favorite episode. And the story was a nice, strong story.
Sandra, I'm so sorry to say my voice is not the one in the Dell commercials. I wish it was. I'll practice. And it wasn't me in Medicine Hat, Alberta that you saw. Although I would like to go there. I'll let you know. I'll call you.